G'day guys, welcome to my RXY's V2 video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL Round 19 predictions for 2020 guys. Let's get started. So the first game of this match, we see the Rabbitohs going up against Bulldogs. Now, this game will be an easy one because the Bulldogs aren't really consistent. They have been sitting on 16th on the ladder, and they haven't really been consecutive in their games because they have lost a couple of games so far, which that means that they have lost so much matches and they have basically got the wooden spooners, so they're not going to be in the finals, unfortunately, for any of the Bulldogs fans out there. They aren't going to be on the finals because I know for a fact they're sitting on 16th position and they aren't going to be in the finals at all. But let's talk about the Rabbitohs. So, at the moment though, they've got Corey Allen sitting on the fullback. They've got Alex Johnston sitting on number 2, which leaves Stephen Masters and Jackson Paulo, number 4 and 5. For Stephen Masters and Jackson Paulo, number 5, which leads also to Damien Cook sitting still on number 9, and that means Dane Gagai will be out of that match, so he won't play at all due to the suspension against Luke Brooks last week. So that means though they have to play like really consistent, and I just think they will, but only. I reckon Rabbitohs, they are a really consistent team and they will stay consecutive on the ladder, and I reckon they will win. So I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs though by 10 points, and I reckon Rabbitohs will win by 10 points. I just think they will, and due to that game, I just think the Rabbitohs will just really stay on top of their form, and I reckon they'll fire up against the Bulldogs, and I reckon they will get this win, and I reckon they will smash the Bulldogs because the Bulldogs are so weak and they just don't really conceive so many balls at all. So I'm just thinking I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs by 10 points anyway. The next game of this match, we see the Cowboys going up against Panthers. Now, this game will be hard for the Cowboys because they haven't really considered so many points in their matches lately, and I know for a fact they are struggling due to players being out and players being suspended. And I know for a fact that Josh McGuire is out due to mouthing off at the ref, and I know John Asiata is out and Justin O'Neill is out. So that means Murray Tuilagi will be replacing him in the number 3 squad. Valentine Holmes will be in the number 1. Then you got Kyle Felt, number 2. Hamaso Tepuai-Fidow, number 5. And that means you got Isan Masters, number 4. So that means it will be really consecutive players, but still, they haven't really considered a lot of these players really good players. But I know for a fact that Kyle Felt is a really good player, but the rest of them aren't really good because they haven't really gained enough points lately, and I just don't think they'll lead into the Cowboys team and the Cowboys club. But for the Panthers though, since they won up against the Eels last week, I just think they will put on a really good form, and I reckon they will get another win in another scoreline prediction. A really good win for this team. Panthers are a really good team, and I just think they will win this game by a long shot because the Cowboys aren't really conceding a lot of points, and I just think they will lose this game because they are struggling so much without Michael Morgan being into that number 7 side, which that means Jack Clifford will be number 7 replacing him anyway. And then you got Scott Drinkwater will be number 6, and then you got Hamaso Tupuai-Fidow, well I just mentioned anyway. And Ruben Cotter will be number 9, and then you got Corey Jensen, number 8, replacing Josh McGuire in that number 8 squad anyway. So I'm going to go with the Panthers by 14, and I just think this game will be really consecutive for the Panthers, and I reckon they will fire up against the Cowboys anyway. The next game of this match, we see the Eels going up against Broncos. Now, my Eels last week have been terrible, and they weren't putting on a lot of pressure against the Panthers. But I know for a fact, though, that when you're going to go up against Broncos, this is going to be an easy win because I know for a fact that the Broncos aren't trying to win like a game at all. But sometimes if you're going up against, like, say, if Broncos go up against Cowboys, I reckon Broncos will probably win that game. But then, how the way their players are and how the way they perform is just not right because they aren't a really good team at the moment, which they are sitting on, I think, 14th position, which that means the Broncos aren't really... Oh, wait, no, they're sitting on 15th, sorry. They're sitting on 15th position, which that means that they aren't a really good consecutive team. I know for a fact that they have lost Brady Croft due to a hamstring injury, if I believe, at training. So that means Jesse Arthurs will be at number 21, which is on reserves. And then you got Tyson Gamble, number 6, and then Tom Dearden, number 7. Then you got Darius Boyd, number 1, and then you got Corey Oates, number 2, and Herbie Farnworth, if I believe, number 4. I'm not too sure who's number 3 though, but I know for a fact Richard Kenner will be number 5, and then Xavier Coates, number 16, and from my belief. But for the Eels though, number 9 for the Eels, Reid Marnie, is on the starting side, but I know for a fact, I heard a lot of rumours saying he's injured, but he's playing into that starting side, which that means Ray Stone is out of that game, and that's going to be real difficult for the Parramatta Eels too, because if Reid Marnie is going to be out, they need a decent number 9, and if he's going to be injured, they need a decent number 9 anyway. So I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eels by 20 points, and this game will be a really good matchup. And last year, when they versed Broncos, it was 58 points to 0 in that game, so I reckon they'll put on a lot of points up against the Broncos anyway, and I reckon there'll be an easy win putting on the Broncos, and I reckon that this game will be an absolute awesome match anyway. The next game of this match, we see the Sea Eagles going up against Titans. Now, this game's going to be real difficult for the Manly Sea Eagles because they have lost Tom Trbojevic and Ruben Garrick, but they are coming back, but they have been on the reserves, so that's going to be real difficult for the Manly Sea Eagles squad, and this side is just going to be real tight in this game because I know for a fact that Tafita Funa will be on number 1 for the fullback, replacing Tom Trbojevic and Ruben Cotter in that game. So this game's going to be real hard, and going up against like Alexander Brimson, like AJ Brimson. AJ Brimson is a real good player now. He's just really improving right from the start, and I just think he will put on a lot of points against Manly Sea Eagles. But I just don't see the Titans winning in this game because I know for a fact though that the Titans have been winning a couple of games, but I just don't see the Titans winning up against Manly Sea Eagles because Manly Sea Eagles are a really good team, but sometimes they do lose and sometimes they do win. I just don't think that the Manly Sea Eagles will put on a lot of points in this game, and it won't be a firing up game, and I just don't see the Manly Sea Eagles will be fired up in this game, but it will be hard for the players out there that will put on a lot of points up against the Titans. So AJ Brimson will be on number 1, then you got Anthony Don number 2, I believe number 3, I'm not too sure about that one, but I know Young Tonamapia will be on number 4, and then you got Corey Thompson will be on number 5. So that's going to be a lot of consecutive players out there, and if they want to put points on, they got to put pressure on the Manly Sea Eagles, but they are a really tight team anyway. So I'm going to go with the Manly Sea Eagles by 8 points anyway. The next game of this match, we see the Storm going up against the West Tigers. Now, this game will be really hard and really difficult for the West Tigers because the West Tigers have lost up against the Rabbitohs last week, 26-24, and that was real difficult and real tight in that game. Average points was averagely, like, expendable, and that game was absolutely hard to decide whether or not if the West Tigers were going to win or if the Rabbitohs were going to win. But this game was really consecutive in that game. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Storm and the West Tigers. So I reckon the Melbourne Storm will be a really good team to put on a lot of pressure on the West Tigers. And the West Tigers, though, I reckon they'll play really good, but they won't play as good as the Melbourne Storm. But they haven't got Ryan Pappenhausen playing in that game now, which that means Nico Hines will be replacing him in the number 1 squad of the fullback. And then you got Suliasi Vunivalu, Brenko Lee, number 3, Justin Olam, number 4, and then you got Josh Adokar, number 5. That is a real consecutive squad, which I think, to myself, I reckon Josh Adokar will score 2 tries in that game, and I reckon he will put on a lot of points and put on a lot of pressure up against like the West Tigers, I believe. And he's going up against his former club anyway, so I hate to think what he's going to do in this game, which I can see that if he's going to be in that consecutive squad, I reckon he will be fired up in that game. So I'm going to go with the Melbourne Storm by 12 points, and I just think that this game will be a real average match, but I just don't see the West Tigers winning in that game, so I'm going to say I reckon the Melbourne Storm will win by 12 points anyway. The next game of this match, we see the Roosters going up against the Sharks. Now, this game will be very average match because they have lost James Tedesco and they have lost Sasia Takiaho. But for the Roosters, though, it doesn't really matter on how the way they play their football. They play it right, and these two Morris brothers are really just so good. I don't know how the hell they just, when they get the ball, they're just so quick and just so good. And it's just incredible. And how the way they play is just amazing. And so this game, I just think that they will be fired up in that game. And I reckon Josh Morris will score 2 tries, and I reckon Brett Morris will score 3. I just think it will be a really executive match, but the Sharks, they haven't really improved lately, and without Chad Townsend in that game due to the suspension high shot on Kalen Ponga, that was really irresponsible by him. But then you got Sean Johnson replacing him in the number 7 squad anyway. So that means Connor Tracy will be number 6, and then you got William Kennedy number 1, and then you got Sione Katoa number 2, and then the rest will go on. But then in this match, Joseph Manu will be replacing James Tedesco as number 1. So Joseph Manu will be on number 1 for fullback, replacing James Tedesco anyway. And then you got Daniel Tupou number 2, and then you got I think it would be Josh Morris, and then Mitchell Orbison number 4, and then you obviously got Brett Morris number 5, and then you got Cole Flanagan number 6, and then not Cole Flanagan, Luke Keary number 6, Cole Flanagan number 7, and then list goes on and on. So I reckon the Roosters will be fired up in this game, so I'm going to go with the Roosters by 18 points anyway. The next game of that match, we see the Raiders going up against Warriors. Now, this game will be very, how should I say it? The Raiders are very good sometimes, but they aren't really that good because Josh Hodgson has been out for a number of weeks now, and replacing him, I'm not too sure which player would be, but I know for a fact that Josh Hodgson won't play in that game. The Warriors have lost Daniel Alvaro, George Jennings, and Elisa Katoa, if I believe. Yeah, Elisa Katoa. Oh, wait, no. Jermaine Tanua-Brown. They've lost. So, Daniel Alvaro, George Jennings, and Jermaine Tanua-Brown. They've lost 3 of their players, but I have seen that Daniel Alvaro and George Jennings have gone back to the Parramatta Eels, which that means that was being crazy, and I did not realize they were going to go back to the Parramatta Eels anyway, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about Raiders and Warriors. So I reckon this game will be a very surprising match if the Warriors win this game. I'm going to be surprised if this game will be an upset. I reckon the Warriors, though, they have been very consecutive into this match. But I reckon, though, my prediction in this game, which I see Semi Falimi scoring 1 try, Chance Nickel-Clockstad scores 1 try, and I reckon, so on. But Chance Nickel-Clockstad will be on number 1, then you got Semi Falimi number 2, then you got number 4 will be Jordan Rapana, and then, so on and so on. So I reckon this game will be a very good matchup. I'm going to go with the Raiders by 16 points anyway. And last but certainly not least, we see the Knights going up against Dragons. Now, this game will be, how do I say it? Very, very hard, because the Knights have been so difficult lately, because they have been very, I should say, irresponsible. And they have been struggling so much with players in and out. But that means, though, that they have lost 2 players, so Jimmy Shibasaki and Kurt Mann. So that's a big blow for them. And they have lost Billy Britton for Dragons. That's the only player there that is out at the moment. But the only player that will be coming into that squad will be Tex Hoy replacing Kurt Mann in that number 6 role. So Tex Hoy will be on number 6. And then you got Kalen Ponga at number 1. And then you got Stafford Toa number 5. And I would say number 2 would be... I probably don't know anyway, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, Matthew Duffy will be still number 1, and then so on and so on. So it'll be still players out there that the same squad will be. So yeah, that means I just think that this game will be kind of bit dodgy, and I just think the Knights will be playing a really good game, but not as good as the Dragons, I believe. So I just don't see the Dragons being beaten the Knights, and I reckon the Knights will definitely fight up in this game. So I'm going to go with the Newcastle Knights by 10 points anyway. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care guys, stay safe, and have a good one. Plus, let's go up to 200 subscribers. We're sitting on 173 anyway, so let's get up to that, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Also, too, just to add to the Eels and Broncos, I will be doing a vlog there, so stay tuned for that, and the vlog will be coming out Friday night after the game anyway. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Take care.